All right, so this is the back training that I did the other day. So I'm pretty excited for this video. I always get very enthusiastic when I train back. Chest isn't really my best. I don't really like training it. It's pretty good though. But without further ado, here we go. All right, so the fun begins with pull-ups. I love doing these in the beginning. I actually built my back primarily off of doing pull-ups, so these are just an old favorite. I always put them in my routine no matter what. And this time I filmed more than one set of an exercise. I figured it, maybe spice it up a little bit, give you a more in-depth look. As you can see, pull-ups are pretty easy for me, even though, I'm over 200 pounds. I feel like the more you do pull-ups, just the easier, obviously the easier it's going to become, but it's almost second nature. So you can see I'm doing different variations. I started off with very wide grip. Now I'm going closer into medium grip. Medium grip, for me, it really engages both the trapezius muscles and the lats. I feel the lats the most when I do wide grip, but medium grip, I'm getting a little bit of both. I'm getting best of both worlds there. Even though it's not really my favorite, I like wide grip a whole lot. And then you go to close grip, really just to focus in on the traps. And I'm going all the way up. I'm not going all the way down on these just because I feel like that would activate the lats, and I'm not trying to activate the lats when I'm doing chin-ups. Usually when I do chin-ups, it's more about the upper to middle trapezius area. So yeah, you can see I filmed all 6 of my sets. I usually do 4 to 6 sets for pretty much each and every single exercise. I just feel a lot better when I put in a volume over just heavy weight. Heavy weight's just how you get injured. All right, and then a back workout would never be really a back workout without rows. These are just the medium grip rows where I'm just trying to target the middle of my back. These are something that I've just put in my back routine just since the beginning. Actually, no, that's a lie. In the beginning, I would just always do pull-ups, but I did start incorporating a lot of rows, and I feel like that really thickened up my back quite a lot. Even though naturally my back was always kind of thick, I always kind of had those traps, especially the upper traps. That was just genetic. I was just born with those. But yeah, I mean, these are not really that heavy of weight. Maybe they're like, I don't know, 40 pounds. I'm really trying to focus in squeezing the muscle. I feel like that is way better than just focusing on weight, as I've said many times before. You can see I'm doing a faster tempo. I'm really trying to pump up the muscles full of blood, because that's how you just rush nutrients to the muscle. That's just what I find very effective. I don't really find doing these super slow reps to be, sometimes I'll incorporate super slow reps, but I feel like, using a little bit of a faster tempo with higher volume is just really how I get to enjoy my workouts. These are just, they're one of my favorites. Yeah. Again, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I probably filmed a little too much. Probably could have cut it back, because I'm sure you guys get the point. These are rows. All right, but then I switched it up. I did the 2-hand rows, and it's targeting the same muscles in my back, but I actually feel it a little bit differently when I use 2 hands instead of 1. It's just a different way to target my back. I feel it's just a little bit different. So I try to incorporate all types of movements in my workouts. I try to hit the muscles in all different types of angles. I feel like just doing a couple exercises each and every time you go to the gym and recycling the same types of workouts is kind of counterproductive, because the body will get used to what you put it through. So sometimes I, switch it up. And I actually didn't plan on doing these. I just felt like it was right in the moment, It's just a different feeling. but the same rules apply. The stretch and the flex, the most important parts of any exercise in order to build muscle. All right, so these I'm really focusing on activating my lower lats. As you can see, I'm not actually rowing, like I'm not using my arms at all. I'm not flexing my bicep at all. The majority of the times the bicep is going to be activated in any back routine, but I'm trying to minimize the arm and trying to maximize the lower lats. So I'm really thinking right now about activating the lower back portion. That's why I'm kind of rowing it to the back end of my back. Yeah, this is a lot better of an angle right here. You can definitely see I'm really pulling back, and I'm not trying to use my arms a whole lot. So I feel like that's a very important thing to note, that when you're trying to focus in on your lower back, doing these types of one-handed dumbbell rows, you don't want to focus on your arms. You never really want to put the focus on the bicep in a back routine, because if the bicep gives out before the back, then you're not really training the back to its fullest of potential. You want your back to give in before your biceps do. I feel like that's a very important thing to note. You're trying to, every time you go into a workout, you want to think about the muscle that you're working, and only that muscle. You want to hone in and focus on that. So right now, again, as I've said, I'm really focusing on the back. I'm not thinking about my biceps, not thinking about my arms at all, even though technically they are involved in this movement. And you can also note that my pace is very fast. I usually don't rest a whole lot in between sets, as I have told you guys multiple times in the past, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a very heavy lifter. I'm pretty weak. Strength was not in the cards for me. Nor do I want them to be. Joint health is much more important than just saying, hey bro, I can bench press 500 pounds, dude. That doesn't really matter to me. As you can see, I'm going further and further away from the camera because I'm going up in weight. I'm going down the rack, and I'm not really taking any rest. I'm kind of just going, dumbbell after dumbbell, heavier and heavier and heavier, pyramiding up. And if I do take rest, it's usually about 30 to 45 minutes. So it's kind of, a boom, boom, boom kind of workout. You're just trying to hammer it home. You're not really, taking, a fresh of breath air all the time. You're not really, going through the motions. For me, it's just business. When you walk into that gym, you're only focused on one thing, and that is training. I'm doing some more low rows on the cable with ropes. I honestly don't know what to call this exercise. I don't know. It's just more of targeting the lower back, so you can see I'm pulling it kind of to my pelvis area, focusing on that lower back. I've noticed a whole lot of things. One of the things that I've noticed in bodybuilding is the majority of people, and I'm talking like 99% of people, do not have a complete lower back. And back in general, but the lower back almost always fails people, especially natural bodybuilders. And I feel like focusing in on the muscle groups that other people don't tend to focus on will kind of give me a competitive edge, because let's say I have a lower back development far superior than others, and no one else has that, I'm going to stand out. So, I always tend to focus in lower back. I feel like that's much more important than the, upper and middle, because everyone has upper and middle, even though you need it. As you can see, I'm pyramiding up in weight again. I am a very big fan of pyramiding, either if it's pyramiding up or pyramiding down. Pyramiding is just a great method of working out in general. I think one of the guys that really popularized pyramiding up or down is kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger. You kind of got to take a look back at the golden era, and they were really the type of people that hammered that idea home. And I'm a big fan of that, so I can't blame him for feeling that way. I feel like going up and down, not just doing the same weight over and over again, is much more beneficial. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about this exercise. I mean, it's a fun one, and I don't really see a whole lot of people doing it. So this is a good exercise to build thickness in the lats. These are like the cable pullovers. I don't know if that's like the exact name to call these, but I use this a whole lot. I always felt like that it worked the serratus muscles a whole lot, and it really helped thicken up the lats. Some people have really big lats, but they're very thin, almost like paper, and it doesn't look good, especially, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. So, again, as I've said before, you got to hit the muscles at all angles, and I feel like this is really good for thickness. You could also do the regular type of pullover as well, but you know what? I did that for the chest variation. I kind of just wanted to, just switch it up. I just realized I've been saying almost every time I end or start a sentence. So if that's annoying, I apologize, but to some machine rows. I guess you'd call it. This is kind of a machine. I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but it is a row. And yes, I took my sweater off so I can show off my muscles to YouTube. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just thought it looked cool. But this is my last exercise. I was already kind of
considering just ending it with the last exercise you saw the last exercise you saw. But I figured, might as well go out with a bang and rip off that sweater. I totally ripped it off. I'm just kidding. No, put it on the ground. But yeah, I just figured I end off with these little machine rows right here. And I believe this total workout was about 42 sets. I didn't film all of the sets that I did, but I believe I did 6 sets every single exercise. I believe I only filmed like 4 out of every one, but I usually, I don't know. Sometimes you just can't film everything. You just gotta keep your head in the game, and sometimes that means not filming yourself. But I did film quite a bit for you guys. I wanted to give you guys that. I don't think that there's a whole lot more left of this video. And I don't really feel like doing another recap. So I'll just end it off here, I guess, with this recap. I thank all of you guys for watching. I really appreciate each and every view that I get. I hope you guys learned something. Of course, I'm not a professional. I don't really expect people to learn every single thing. I don't know. But I thank you guys anyway. And with that being said, I wish you guys all a great night, because it's night for me, and I'm assuming it's night for you. So, good night.